Well, we've certainly come, I don't want to say full circle, but yeah, close enough for me. And I just want to say this up front. Fuck Gerry Conway. Fuck him. Just screw the guy. And it was only a matter of time. I mean, manga has been putting these comic book artists and pros in the American industry to shame. So it was only a matter of time before more of them decide to wag their finger at mangas and animes and the people who enjoy them. And it's no surprise. I mean, like the social justice jackasses have been targeting manga for a while. And I saw that tweet by Gerry Conway and it just pissed me off. And then I thought I'd react to that and another thing, but mainly this. And also bring up a article by Bound Into Comics. Power Girl co-creator Gerry Conway wants to see manga creators taken to task for their rampant sexism and misogyny. Well, I can think of someone I can call a racist now because, and an imperialist, because this sounds like someone saying, I don't like your values. You have to have my values or you're a bad person. More moral relativism and just bullshit. Anyway, the Western comic book industry has officially begun to turn its sights on the Japanese entertainment industry as Power Girl co-creator Gerry Conway declared that he wants to see the manga industry taken to task for their rampant sexism and misogyny. Well, maybe Gerry Conway, if he wants to douche canoe in a hack and actually made stuff that would appeal to your audience instead of lecturing them and pissing people off, you wouldn't be having this problem. Unfortunately, no. They're just jealous that people are going to manga now, and that's why I said fuck this guy. He's a piece of shit. On May 11th, presumably promoted by the recent situation surrounding the J. Scott Campbell's response to Tumblr artist fixing of his work, Conway took to his Twitter to bafflingly assert that while American comic book artists are taken deservedly to task regularly for outrageous sexist treatment of women, he rarely saw any commentary on the rampant sexism and misogyny manga. And that is a lie. We see this constantly. We've seen it from assholes in America and assholes in Australia. Mainly Karens, who have no life and unfortunately can't croak soon enough. I should probably take that out, but you know what? Screw it. No, the day these people shuffle off their mortal coil, the world will be a better place for it. And let me see what else. Oh, first, there's an ad on here. Oh, Bill Maher has contracted COVID-19. That's irrelevant. Heck with it. And manga is incredibly popular with younger readers, Conway added, attempting to support his disingenuous argument with the tired, think of the chillin's moral backing. I mean, yeah, that's the usual bullshit they like to peddle. It was done in the 80s and 90s with video games and Dungeons and Dragons. Please think of the chillins. This Dungeons and Dragons, it's going to turn our children into Satanists. Or these video games, they're going to make our kids shoot up a school. Or maybe the fact is that these idiots weren't properly parenting their own kids is going to cause that. And yeah, as proof of his claim that manga was filled with rampant sexism and misogyny, the veteran comic book writer pointed to cover image of Dungeon Builder, The Demon King's Labyrinth, and Modern Cities, fourth volume, which depicts the series' busted ancient elf monster Aura in her standard scantily clad outfit. Yeah, this guy's a Puritan, so screw him. Man, that looks nice. Surprised more people in Japan aren't having kids that are faster if they're reading this constantly, or if the younger ones are. In a follow-up tweet, Conway continued, not to mention manga's rampant sexualization of teen and preteen young women. And there it is. Like, these people love doing that. They just love either saying it's pedophilia or insinuating it, and that seems like an insinuation. In the media that America is mostly popular among young readers. Do we ignore this because we are afraid of criticizing non-Western cultural tropes, he asked. No, we ignore them because assholes like you are the only ones who have a problem with it, and who constantly try to make a problem out of it. Conway presented them another manga cover to support his argument, this time drawing attention to the cover of the 7th volume of Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro. Please don't bully me, blah, blah, blah. There is no way around it. The argument made in Conway's tweets are disingenuous at best, outright lies at worst. They are lies. They are intellectually dishonest, and fuck him for the third time. And not in the fun way. You need a lot of alcohol to do that. And be gay or bisexual. First off, his claim that sexualized depictions of female characters are inherently sexist and misogynist is an outright lie, and ironically, a misogynistic one, given the mere existence of the large numbers of female artists who enjoy drawing sexy characters such as digital artist Sakamichi-chan or Bayonetta designer Mary Shimazaki. Yet more egregious is his claim that he has only rarely seen criticism of manga being sexist, as the only way this could be true is if he was either only getting his anime and manga news from straightforward news-only trade outlets, or he was outright blind, as anyone who has engaged with any one of a number of communities surrounding the medium for more than 15 minutes on social media knows. Both anime and manga depictions of women are favorite targets of commentary from critical social justice jackasses and race-baiting theorists, spiteful busybodies, and offensive desperate attention whores. For example, in 2019, the self-righteous fans of My Hero Academia took issue with how the anime adaptations depicted of Nijir Hado featured a more defined bust than her manga counterpart, criticizing the change on the grounds of ranging from misogyny to pedophilia. In fact, one fan felt so self-righteous in their anger towards Studio Bones' apparent misogynistic crimes against the fictional character that they called upon their Twitter followers to hunt Studio Bones down, and even highlighted the location of their headquarters as featured in their Wikipedia entry. Just 15 days later, the Shonen Jump series Yuna and the Haunted Hot Springs was vocally chastised on social media by Western critics for risque pin-up of the series. Eponymous character featured the manga magazine's 48th issue of the year. According to the mob, the inclusion of the pin-up and magazine was not only absolutely disgusting and tantamount to child abuse, but in the words of one particular critic, reasons to celebrate the fact Japan's population is declining. Yeah, these people are actually monsters. These social justice people are assholes. They say they care about these people. They don't. They don't. They're busybodies who need to be told to fuck off. And they celebrate the fact that the Japanese population is going down and might go completely gone one day, for all we know. Well, maybe. In mid-2020, the premiere of the animated adaptation of Uzaki-chan Wants to Hang Out saw a worrying number of social media users accuse the highly stylized depiction of the series. Titular main character saw a worrying amount of social media users accuse everyone from the series creator to fans of the series of pedophilia. And again, this is something they love to do. They love to bring out the pedophilia card, even though I'm pretty sure some of these people are okay with pedophilia. Like these social justice people, I will bet you anything in the future some of them turn out to be pedophiles themselves. Like they're projecting. And it's just really insufferable, because usually when you see a social justice jackass virtue signaling, odds are 10 to 1 they later get accused of either sexual abuse, harassment, or pedophilia themselves. So they shouldn't be taken seriously. They should be told to screw off and to stick their opinion where the sun don't shine. Later that year, CBR published an editorial asserting the way the One Piece mangaka Iachiro Oda drew female characters served only to reinforce harmful stereotypes, claiming contrary to what anyone who has read the popular shonen series knows, that Oda female characters' designs often perpetuate the idea of beauty equates to goodness or lack of agency. The fact that one of the most well-known, corporate-endorsed, and ideologically acceptable nerd culture websites in North America has chimed to criticize one of the most popular manga series of all time should stand as proof that this issue has been ignored by the Western commentators. These are only a handful of examples, but they conclusively prove that Conway's arguments are either completely detached from or willful ignorance of the reality of the popular attitudes towards Japanese art choice. Given the fact that Japanese manga has absolutely overtaken and blown out the Western comic book industry in terms of sales in the United States, Conway's dishonest, pearl-clutching more like a desperate attempt to attack an industry competitor rather than an earnest critique born out of any sort of principle, even one rooted in critical race or social justice theory. After all, why else would he attempt to appeal to the very same censorious ideologues who have just as soon happily taken Conway himself to task for creating what they consider one of the most popular sexualized characters of all time? In the coming months, Conway might find it helpful to read the classic tales of Scorpion and the Frog, as he will almost assuredly discover his efforts to ally himself with a critical social justice and race theorist in his derision towards the manga ending is much the same way. What do you make of Conway's calls for art? And that's about it. That's asking for the opinion. And race theorist in his derision towards manga ending in much the same. I just wanted to correct that. And Conway's just a bitter old man. That's all I can really say about him. He's a piece of shit. Hard to believe this is also the same guy who made The Punisher. But yeah, he's just a piece of shit who's just bitter that the industry he's a part of is dying because they like to pander to a bunch of people who don't even buy comics. They just bitch and moan online all day. And it's a shame because at some point anime is going to go the way of comics over here because these social justice jackasses are going to try to infect Japan. It's only a matter of time. I hope they don't, but it could happen. And that was all I really had to say on it other than, well, yeah, screw him. I hope this comes back to bite him in the ass. Both literally and figuratively. Because this was unprofessional. This was, just unbecoming of someone. He was supposed, this just felt like a petty move on his part. A petty, dishonest, intellectually dishonest, bullshit attempt to slander someone. And I kind of wish the people in Japan would sue the crap out of people who do this because they deserve to be sued or suffer some legal repercussion. And not just get to say whatever what they fucking feel like without any kind of backlash. Even if it's small, I would take anything to make these people suffer a little. Just to see that their actions have consequences, but that's not going to happen. These assholes are going to keep getting to do what they do. All I would say to the people doing these mangas is ignore these assholes. They are not your main demographic. They do not give you money. They don't give money to people. They don't give money to people in the West who make comics, and the people in the comic industry pandering to them. You're only hurting yourselves. And I hope your industry dies soon because you deserve to lose your jobs for the way you treat your customers. And now I feel like I'm rambling, so I'll just get this out of the way. Have a nice day. I'll be linking to this article. Yeah, that's it. Have a nice day, and remember the game was rigged from the start.